I met Aaron twice, I think. The first time was in school. We were in school together.
At King's College.
We never really got to know each other at school. So I met Aaron again in 2019.
At church.
Christmas at Watoto Church.
It was a Christmas service.
I kind of bumped into some other friend of ours
called Emron Kosia.
When he phoned me at church, he told me to wait for him because he needed to meet his cell leader.
He had tagged along with a beautiful girl called Miria. And I took notice.
Ah.
I wanted to make whatever memories they were for Christmas and decided to take a picture.
They usually take a picture with the Christmas tree, and then I took a picture for them. I think that's when we met again.
The best way I could make that memory last is not just to take a picture with my friend, but also to add her in the picture, and maybe I could all start from there. So time goes by, 1 year, I think 6 months or something.
I forget about him really. He was just some other guy I had met at church and said what's up.
I met her again, I think it was a Saturday, but she barely remembers that. She had caught my fancy the first time. And she was all in a rush. Oh, I want to go and supervise these people. She has work she does with pharmacies, kind of, I think, supervising their stock and all that. So second time, I still wasn't lucky.
I think the next time I met him again was at Budo Lake.
We had just lost a game, I think. Unfortunately, also I had got an injury, so I had gone to the first aid bus, the ambulance, their service providers, and she was just seated right there with her friends. And I just took the moment, when life gives you lemon, you squeeze lemonade.
And then he says, what's up? I say hi. He had broken his hand, I think, so he wasn't playing.
I was in an apparently weak position. I just tried to use that to my advantage of like, oh, I'm really injured, you guys, how are you? I'm just going to get some, just to kind of pick into someone's kind of like, oh, sorry, there is a way girls usually say like, you're, and then I'm like, oh, Miria, what's up? What's going on? It's been a while. I just see you once in a while and then you get lost. And so I actually used that time to try and get her number.
But then he was a bit too wordy, wanting to say hello and all.
I don't know, we talked a lot.
Yeah, but I was just not really caring. I was with my friends, the Joys at Namale. I think the league ended. It was season finale for the league. And then we moved on with our lives.
From there on, I think I got to stalk her a bit on Facebook.
He kept liking my pictures on Facebook, whatever upload.
And then I got a number.
Then I think at some point, he asked for my number on Facebook. And of course I didn't give it to him. I think I've forgotten. But yes, after some time, I think he gave me his. He's like, if I get some time, we could WhatsApp. So he left his number.
So that's how I really got to get into the conversation and Eventually,
in lockdown, I think he oversaid what's up. And then I just said, okay. I think I got his number then, and I think I WhatsApped him back.
We are chatting on WhatsApp.
Then at some point he got the courage and called me. We spoke.
But mostly at night.
I think we spoke until like 3 or 2 in the night.
I always look forward to evening time when we would kind of chat, because Miria likes to talk and I'm someone who really likes to talk.
So this one day he calls me in the morning and asks me what my plans were for the day. And then I told him I had a breakfast date with Pastor Claire. And guess what? Yours truly is seated like on some other table next to us, but I hadn't seen him.
And so I wanted to say hi.
And then, being the bold him that he is and courageous, he stood up to come and say, "What's up?" In my head, I had last seen him like Budo League, and that was before lockdown. I think that was like a year before. I don't know. I don't remember. So he walks up to us. He comes to say hello.
I was putting on a mask. I remember Pastor Claire telling me to put off that mask.
So he takes off his mask to say hi.
She loved what she saw, apparently. That's what she tells me, her recollection from that meeting.
And I was like, damn, this guy is cute. Yeah, he says hello and then goes back. I think he had a meeting and then we continued on our date. Anyways, we talk again that evening. But the good news is that now, in my head, I was speaking to the cute guy I had seen in CJ's. Yeah, the following day, I remember I had to go to work. I woke up and called Pastor Claire and asked her, "What did you think of the guy we met at CJ's?" And then she told me, "Well, he looks like those Baganda boys, Abakuziwa, who are really clever and rich." Yeah. And then I told Pastor Claire that I think he's the one. Meanwhile, this story gets very interesting. One of those days, before I said yes, now we had started hanging out. He's taking me to work.
She had to work Sundays. She has a really hectic job.
He would come and do my work, and he was interested in getting to know the things I do, which was pretty interesting. So one of those days when we're coming from work, I tell him, "You can drop me at my auntie's house in Kololo." So my auntie Miria tells me, and so Aaron is asked over for lunch. And then we sit down to have late lunch. And then they really vibed. However, prior to that, I had told Aaron that I was of his clan. I'm of Pindi clan.
I think, I don't know what made her think of that, but I think maybe she was testing to see whether I would take it a notch higher, how I would react and all that.
Yeah, and then he's like sad, but then he's laughing. He's like, "Really? Of my clan? We are very few. How is that even possible?" But here's the interesting thing. The following day was a Monday. I was at work. And guess who calls me? My auntie Miria. And then she's like, "So Miria, this friend of yours that you came with yesterday, what's the story there?" And then I tell her, "He's just my friend. He's just my friend. We are talking." And then my auntie tells me, "Miria, be serious with this one."
There were dates we used to have at our workplace on Sunday while she's working on Sunday, and then I would be like, I'm trying to engage with her work to show her that, I'm really, really there into how she does her things and all that. And dropping her home, we spent some time talking and chatting at home. And if I remember very well, I think as it got into the evening hours, I recall that's when I told her that I love her. from then on, things just got better and better.
Eventually, I say yes to dating Aaron Tulume on September 5th. He was very clear and intentional about what he wanted.
It was one of those things where I told her that I love her, but then like, I don't want to date for long. I remember because I felt like we really gel and there was already some good, a ton of chemistry.
He did not want to date for games. He wanted to date for marriage.
What did she say? Did she say she loves me too? No. Her non-verbal expressions were saying that she loves me too, but her mouth was a little not yet admitting that she does, but you would see.
This man was so serious, you guys, from like the very beginning. And he's telling me all these things of marriage, what? What I did, I got him, put him on a bus and took him to my parents, Uncle Solomon and Auntie Grace in Nairobi.
Apparently, when she feels that someone is serious in her life, like I am, so I had to go and see the parents in Nairobi.
And they hung out with him for a week to make sure that he's straight, he's not playing games. And by the end of that trip, we got Uncle Solomon's blessing for marriage. But at this point, he hadn't even proposed. But what did I like about this? He blindly accepted to come to Nairobi. He didn't have to.
Until there was a time when I had to make a proposal for her to be my girlfriend.
Huh? The proposal! March 15th.
I actually joke with my friends that actually I was also surprised by the proposal myself, because I put it together in, I think, like 2-3 days.
So the day before, I think it was a Saturday, and then, you know, he's always late. So I tell him that Auntie Esther is expecting us at, I think she was expecting us at 2, and then he asked me if they could push it until 4. And then I asked Auntie Esther and she pushed it till 4. And mine Tulume was still late. But by this time, smoke is literally coming out of my ears. We are so late. And he finally shows up at 6 p.m. But the day before, my sister Stella had asked me if I could join them for dinner to meet her boyfriend's family. And then I had told her, I'm coming with Ntulume and I hope that's okay. And then she's like, yeah, it's fine. But now I had to ask Ntulume if he would accompany me to this dinner. But now we are not talking. I am so mad at him, I can barely look at him. So anyways, we leave Auntie Esther's house very late. And then we go back home to talk about this situation. And so I ask him again. I'm like, Kakati, tomorrow we need to go to Stella's place. I told her that I would only come if you're coming. Are you still up for that? And then he told me, but you know I have school, I have class. Anyway, so the following day was a Sunday. Since the night had not ended on a good note, we didn't talk. So after church, I go to Auntie Miria's house, as I usually do. I pass by, and then this time I was telling her, you know what, this guy says he wants to marry me, he wants to come home. I don't know. I was really confused, but I was also putting it out there that, you know, this guy is saying ABC. Another thing, when you were in Nairobi, He also told my parents his intentions, but we were confused. This guy was not proposing. Like, how are we going to get there? However, also at the time, I had just found out that I had reached the finals of the Mandela Washington Fellowship and I was not going in. So I was in a really bad place after applying so many times.
That very week, she had missed out on a very important opportunity of study fellowship abroad. And so she was crying. So as a man, you don't know how to really deal when a lady is crying. Or like, should I run away or what's really happening here? But then an idea dropped in my mind of, we are getting married before the end of the year. So what's up with the proposal? So I'm like, this could be something that moves the needle and makes her forget about all this kind of, oh, I've missed out on this study fellowship and I've done this. There's a friend of ours called Bridget. The following day, I call her Bridget. And I'm like, Bridget, how is this thing done? It could be able to calm Miria down. Bridget helped with her finger size and I was able to get a really beautiful ring. And so the remaining piece in the puzzle was how to get Miria to the proposal. And Stella was my plug, her big sister. Stella and the family told her that, you know what, they're going to meet Mark's family. And Mark's family, they are in Entebbe.
And then my sister Stella comes with her boyfriend Mark. First she called me, she asked me where. Where is it? I'm like, I'm in Kololo with Auntie Miria. She's like, we're coming right now with Mark. And then Mark in the background is like, Miria, you need to come, I promise my family. Now my in-laws are hot, so you need to go home and they make you guys up.
So that was a perfect excuse to get Miria all made up with a makeup artist and things like that, because otherwise she would have been hesitant of like, it's a Sunday and tomorrow is a Monday and work.
My sister is like, yeah, we're not leaving you here, we're going with you. So we said bye properly to Auntie Miria and Auntie Baker and we go to Kawempe. Meanwhile, I didn't have a dress even what to put on. So my sister Stella, before she had asked me to organize my clothes, so I show her the clothes I had organized. She's like, no, zinoto zambala. She gets me a dress and it had deep cleavage. I'm like, madam, is this how you show up at your in-laws? We're in cleavage. Is that even okay? She's like, no, it's okay. My in-laws are modern. Anyways, I dress up. Everyone else was glammed up. May and Stella. Anyways, we get into the car and drive to Ebbs.
On the road, they drove express and we were already there.
So we reach hotel number 5. But then in my head, I'm like, where is Ntulume? You said that Ntulume will be here.
On reaching the venue, I am there with, you know, the whole proposal thing with flowers littered around, making a heart shape, and candles sort of lit around.
And then when I finally get to the gardens, and behold, it's my Ntulume. He's down on one knee.
I was on my knee with a really beautiful ring that was glowing in the dark.
And then I'm like, why are you kneeling? Stand up, stand up, stand up.
And will you marry me? And so she was so surprised.
And I said yes.
Miria is a bag of many nice things. Miria has really, 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 really beautiful eyes. She looks at you and then you're smitten.
My Ntulume, I am so in love with you, darling.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being beautiful.
We're going to figure this thing out. I am not perfect. Otherwise, I'm excited about the little Tulumes. And I'm excited about the family that you and I are about to start.
Here is to the beginning of my infinity love for you. And I want to say, I love you, baby.